Question number 20 is, why are we here? And that is an age-old question. Sometimes, well, I think everyone just has a different answer to that. So let's see what this says. The facts are incontestable. We are born, we reproduce, we die. The question is why? Many decades ago, around the time when I was first becoming aware of other pressing issues such as skincare in boys, I began to ask that very question. When most people inquire as to how and why this planet and life of ours came to pass, as most people do, they are offered a one-syllable answer: God. Which is to say, the world is the invention of an invisible, all-powerful being, spinner of galaxies and sculptor of continents. As for what God wants and why he is doing all of this, well, that is a mystery far beyond the pay grade of our puny human intelligence. End of story. As for myself, I never received the God answer. And I'm actually not surprised that that just said that, because if you've watched any of my videos before, you do know that I'm a Christian, and I feel that several times God is discredited to be the master and creator of the world, but I do believe and am thoroughly convinced that he is the master and creator of life as we know it, the world, the people around us, the animals, and to accept that really is not that deep of an issue. It's just the way that it is. And anyway, that's my way of thinking. So I will go ahead and continue on here for those that do not believe in that answer. I do respect different thoughts and opinions, but some things are just the way that they are. Okay, so as for myself, I never received the God answer. My parents were proud atheists. In the family legend, one of my great-grandmothers, disgusted by what she saw as the church's greed and indifference to blue-collar people like herself, refused last rites, ripped the crucifix off her chest, and threw it across the room. We were rationalists who had no dealings with invisible beings, non-believers even in the face of death. The day I gathered my courage and hit my mother with the big why, she seemed insulted, as if I were questioning the value of her existence, the scrubbing and sewing and cooking. So I resolved to be stealthier about my questions. You can't tell people I'm on a mission to discover the purpose of life. Not if you're hoping to prolong the conversation. I had no notion of what form the answer to my question might take or where it might be found. Would it be in a book I read or in a place I visited, coded or in plain sight? Would it take years of patient study to comprehend? Or would it come in a rush of revelation? And, if it was available, why didn't anyone ever find it and mention it? As an adult, I sampled a wide slice of accumulated human knowledge, from physics to theology. Looking for clues, I continue to look. Plenty of times over the years, I have been ready to admit defeat, deciding that my mind, for all the expansion it's endured, is simply too small for the task. I try to get used to the idea of dying before I ever find out what I or any of us is doing here. But then there will be a glimmer, a pattern will emerge. The afternoon sun will seem to slant at a fresh angle, revealing familiar objects in a new light. A phrase from a medieval mystic will stir my soul, and each time this happens, I return to the old question: what does it all mean? I still don't know, but I can tell you this. A few years ago, a 5-year-old swiveled around to me in her car seat and totally out of the blue said, "Grandma, why are we alive?" I told her to love and to help other people, of course, and I continued. Although I could see that her attention was already drifting. One of the reasons we're alive may, in fact, be to ponder that question, because it had just occurred to me that the work of answering the question, why are we here, may itself be part of the answer. Asking after the purpose of life gives our lives purpose. That's from Barbara. I don't know. I've never seen so many difficult last names to pronounce in my life. It's the author most recently of the memoir Living with a Wild God. I think it's Ehrenreich or Rit. I think it's Reich. Okay, so I guess I'm just one of those people that don't see what the big deal is to answer a question like that. Not everybody in the world has to be like me. But what is the big deal to like have to answer that? I mean, she said here to help other people. Well, if there were no other people created, like if life as we know it wasn't, then that would void that answer out. So there really, okay, so here's my opinion about the whole thing. There really is no definite meaning to life. Now, being that I am a Christian, that might seem controversial to some. But what I mean by that is growing up in a Christian home and being a Christian myself, I see where the meaning of life, and have been taught that the meaning of life is simply that we are and were created for the pleasure of God. We were created to worship Him, to be happy, to make Him happy, to be, yes, a help to those who have lost their way and who are unhappy, to be a joy and a strength to those around us. The Bible says, for His pleasure we are and were created. And that's just simply the meaning of life. We are and we were created to be a happiness to God. So God needs us to be happy. When we choose Him as to love Him and to realize that in the midst of all of the confusion in this world, that He is true and that He is there, that makes Him happy. And just like we as human beings need and want to feel loved and wanted and needed, even though He's God, we're created in His image, so He wants to feel loved and needed. So when we realize that He is, and that He, even though we can't see Him, He is there, it's just not a question that keeps coming up in my mind and having to find this big meaning of life. I mean, just, you're alive, just live it, and let it be at that. Just let be the things that are and just go with it. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. So that's probably a pretty touchy subject. May even get some hate comments on that. Not surprised if I'm going to. But you be free to believe the way that you want to believe, and I'll be free to believe the way that I want to believe. You don't have to live the way that I do, and I don't have to live the way that you do. We can all just agree to disagree on subjects like these. But, you know, she said that she felt, I guess, used and abused by the church where she was, that they were just interested in her for her money. Well, that just means to me that you're going to the wrong church. I mean, if you go to a church and you're feeling like all that they are interested in is not your worth as a person, but how much that you have lining your pockets, then maybe you just need to search out another church instead of just saying, forget all this, you're all a bunch of hypocrites or whatever. I mean, whatever. So the church that I go to is not like that. I mean, of course, a church needs money to run, but my pastor, he loves us. He has a genuine care for us as people. He's not interested in big offerings and stuff like that. So I'm very happy about, you know, my relationship, you know, with my pastor like that. I just don't feel like that's true. And I don't know. I mean, if you're having a problem like that at your church, I don't know. Maybe you just need to talk to God about it, because maybe it wasn't even the pastor. Maybe it was just the condition of their heart. Maybe they were the ones that were, you know, not in the right place, and they needed to make sure that they, you know, that their hearts were right. So I don't know what went on there. That was something that, you know, they experienced, not me. So I don't know. But you can't just give up on God because of something that a person did to you. You know, God and people are, you know, in that sense, they're separate. They're, you know, they're just separate. Anyway, I apologize if I got a little preachy there. I really get frustrated whenever people view God so negatively. It's like I said, you know, if you don't want to believe in God, then that's your right and choice as a human being. But, you know, don't hate on me because I do, and I'm not going to hate on you because you don't. So that just needs to be where it's left. But that kind of seems like a negative way to end this little series. But that stuff just kind of gets me heated, you know, and it's just like it's a problem that's just getting worse and worse. And, you know, everybody's talking about how you should be like this and you should be like this. Well, just leave everyone alone to be who they are. Just leave everybody alone. You be you, I'll be me. And we can't hate each other just because we're different. It's just kind of senseless in the end. So anyway, I hope I didn't end this too negatively, this series, but I am finished. That was number 20, so we are finished with that series, and I am glad that kind of went out a lot longer than I had anticipated. I probably would not have started it if I knew that it was going to go on that long. But anyway, it's done. And please feel free to check out any of these videos by going to my channel. And there are several different questions, and I promise I'm not preachy in the other videos like I was in this one. So that is it. I am going to make a video now about, since we're going to be gone on our spring break, I will not be able to make my end of month video where I talk about my goals for the past month and for the month to come. So I'm going to go ahead and do that other video, and I will see you guys then. Thanks for watching these videos if you have, and for sticking with me. I will see you guys later. Bye.